history.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports radio station KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, celebrating 25 years. The station that leaves no listener behind, home to the Asian Oprah, and the show called, Take My Advice, I'm not using it. We're also streaming on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live Podcaster, Spreaker, and that's not even half of it. Why so many places? Because I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. That's why there's no gossip, no scandal, and no K words, no Kanye talk on this show. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show, your life, and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So if you missed any of my past 1,080 shows, yesterday we actually did our annual holiday sing-along on Doctors in the House series. It was fabulous. Go back and free subscribe on my YouTube channel to watch and listen to that and sing along. You can use it as your holiday party, lots to be happy about. And I have series also to help you be happy 88% of the time. And today is Thursday, and Thursdays I always have a cute guy in my studio, and today is no exception. It is my new co-host. His name is James Hawthorn, and I'm so delighted he's here. He's a actor, host, film festival co-founder, and personal trainer. In other words, a true Angeleno from Los Angeles, California. He dates regularly and relationships occasionally. His East Coast roots are now intertwined with 13 years of LA living for a unique perspective on all things dating and relationships. Please welcome back to my studio, James Hawthorn.
Thank you very much, Dr. Marissa.
Nice
it's great to be here. Thank you so much.
Again, you got a bit of this going, huh? That last
I
time
do. I have a couple of fun auditions coming up where I need to either age up. It's, this situation depends on what age I'm supposed to be or what kind of character I'm playing. If I'm a bad dude, then I grow this out. If I'm a little older, then I grow it out. It's fun, It's like a merry-go-round of facial hair.
Yes, I just, I don't want to lose, my favorite part of your face, which is your butt.
Well, I aim to please, so I'll keep that in mind for next week.
And thank you for streaming in. We got a couple of fingers on that little interchange, which is this finger, not the other one. Love having people in the chat. Please don't do it if you're driving right now and tuned into the AM FM. But when you get where you're going, please do feel free subscribe on that YouTube channel and then play with us on the air. And we start every show this last year with breakfast. So you're going to have breakfast now with me and James called Taking a Bite of My Gratitude Sandwich. Here we go. And I already finished my coffee, but I wanted to show you. Is he not the cutest?
I love that.
Cup ever. So we got to cheers. Bring your cup back up.
Yes.
Let's see.
Cheers
in the middle.
At this time of year, Santa Claus does have the weight of the world on his shoulders. So that is quite true. It's very appropriate.
Absolutely. I just think he's the most darling thing in the world. So breakfast means we do 8 things that we're grateful for specifically. We can do 1-word answers. We don't have to do it long form, but just bounce back and forth. Sometimes Frank, who is in the sound studio trying to make things work technologically, and I appreciate him for that. And even though some of the equipment is not cooperating, we've had a fun week this week, but we're all good. I know you can hear me now or later. And then at the bottom of the button, we talk about what we appreciate. So what we like about ourselves. So let's start with gratitude. Outside of ourselves, I'm grateful that I got to meet Bob Eubanks, Newlywed Game, many different game shows, classic game shows, at the 50th Daytime Emmy unveiling of the new Emmy Award. And I got to interview on the red carpet a number of Emmy nominees. So you can check my social today for all of those. I'm super grateful that I get to do fun things like that. That wasn't one word. That probably qualifies as all 4 of my gratitudes.
I'll try to keep mine short and sweet. I've been thinking a lot about opportunity.
Right. It's take my advice. I'm not using it.
That's right. There you go. For me, it's opportunity. Coming into the end of this year, I'm already excited about next year. And that really buoys my spirit rather than worrying about maybe how I didn't accomplish everything I wanted to this year. I'm more fueled by the excitement of what we can accomplish next year. And that opportunity gets me excited and helps me finish this year strong. So just grateful for opportunity and the ability to see it.
Great. Now, the strike is officially over.
Yes.
So that's a big sigh of relief for, especially for my Tuesday Talent people and people in the industry. So, yeah.
I would say for the future of the entertainment industry as a whole, it's a sigh of relief for all parties involved, including the ticket-paying moviegoers.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the silver lining of this whole, starting with the writer's strike and then into the acting strike, is I did not fully appreciate the back end of all of the entertainment that I appreciate and enjoy. And a lot of focus is on actors because they're in front of the camera, but writers, the importance of writers, just like the silver lining in 9/11 was the appreciation of first responders, right? And then the silver lining of COVID was the appreciation of healthcare workers. So in everything, there's always something to be grateful for or something to appreciate. So I'm definitely done with my 8. Go ahead, do one more gratitude, then we'll go to appreciation.
Let's see. One more gratitude. Space. Whether you create it yourself or whether you find it, I in this crazy, busy, noisy world, we have more space at our place right now. I'm doing a winter cleaning. It's just incredibly freeing to have space, and I plan on going out to Griffith Park and going for a trail run today. So I'm gonna get the outdoor space as well as the indoor space. So I'm grateful for that, even in the midst of LA.
That's great. All right, let's go to the bottom of the bun, which is something I want to model. We want to model for you before you go to bed tonight. Instead of MS, meaningless scrolling, that will probably get you riled up in a negative way, because that's most of the things that you see out there are looking for that shock and awe, or if it bleeds, it leads. So to replace that, I want you to think about things that you like about yourself. So that's appreciation. That's the bottom of the bun. Because frankly, my dear, if you can't approve of yourself, how the fork do you expect anybody else to? So that is usually a practice that I do so that I'm not going to sleep and thinking about who done me wrong, or, why didn't I do that, or I shouldn't have said this, or I didn't finish that. So that is the replacement for the bottom of the bun. So James, you start.
Sure. I like that. I try to see opportunities, to help people, and it doesn't have to be a big lift. Sometimes there's something that somebody else really needs, and it can be something that's really easy for you to do. And I like to see those opportunities, because I think at the end of the day, you really feel better when you're able to provide that for somebody, especially if if you're not overextending yourself. There is validity to putting your own oxygen mask on first, but I feel like there's so much, going back to the gratitude piece, opportunity to make a huge difference in people's lives without having to overextend yourself. And I like that I can see and look for those opportunities.
Right. You broke the one word rule this time, so we're even now. I appreciate my ability to be nice 88% of the time.
That's pretty good.
Your turn.
Oh, another one. Okay, boy. All right, put me on the spot today. Let's see. I like
One
my
adjective, just one adjective about something that you like about yourself.
curiosity.
Fun loving.
Easily amused.
I like that one. Easily entertained.
That works.
Last one.
Explorer.
Adventurous. No fear. I get to go to New Zealand and Australia next week.
I am so jealous. I need you better post all the pictures and videos.
I absolutely book tour, speaking, teaching, and watching my favorite niece have a baby. I mean, come on. That's
What a way to bring in the new year.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to try to do live shows from there, and then found out that with the time difference, it would be 4 a.m. And I have not taken a vacation from the show since I went on every day. So, you know what? I am not going to feel bad. You all will enjoy. I have 1,080 shows that you can enjoy while I'm away, and I will be highlighting and spotlighting by series every single day. So unless you've actually heard every single show of mine, you will be delighted by my choices. So there you go. All right, that's it for Breakfast with Dr. Marissa and
James Hawthorn.
Here on Straight Talk on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show on KCAA, 25 years strong, the station that leaves no listener behind. I promise that if you do 28 consecutive days of taking a bite of the gratitude sandwich, you will sandwich your day in the most positive way. All right, it's time for, I do have to get that sound effect. Drum roll. James, pick the topic for today. Tell me what it is.
I am really excited for this topic. It blends the idea, the pressure around gift giving inside of a relationship and how that correlates to the 5 love languages. Can you put yourself in the doghouse if you fail to give a physical gift and maybe give in another way? Let's discuss. I'm excited for this one.
Awesome. And let's just do a quick review because I love the fact that my daughter uses, love languages out loud. And it is something that the younger generation has really embraced, kind of like other generations have embraced things like men are from Mars, women are from Venus, but it's become like this nomenclature or verbiage that people identify with. So I'm looking for a quick quiz on 5 love languages so that
I have one I could quickly list them if you'd like.
Yeah. There's
Sure.
there's a free quiz here. Let me see how long it is. For couples, teens, and they've got an apology language too. Let's see. If I bring this up, you tell me if this is something that is quick or not. If not, you do yours. Have you seen this one?
Oh, I've not seen that one yet.
Do you want to try it?
Nice little quiz. Yeah, let's encourage everybody to play along at home as well. So
Yes.
if you're not familiar with your love language, you can hopefully discover it, and you might, also discover it for your partner as well.
Let me put the link in the chat, and we will all play along. I love doing this stuff. Google is such a good assistant.
It sure is.
Okay, you want to play along with me?
Let's do it.
Oh, you can't. Okay, I'm an adult. You're an adult. We're both single, right?
Yes.
Perfect. It is more meaningful to me when someone sends me a loving note or I hug someone I love.
Hug someone I love.
Hug someone you love. Are we doing this for you or for me?
It's a good question. That's your call.
Do you have a thing that you can play along with?
Let's see. I could play
Well,
along on my
you know
laptop.
what your love language is, right? I don't. So
Oh,
let
let's
me
do it for you.
Let me.
Let's
Yeah,
play
I
for
don't
you.
know it. Yeah, isn't that weird? I love sending me a note for no special reason. I think that one. I can spend time alone with someone, just us. I love someone I does is something practical out me on. I'll go with that.
For me, it'd be the top one.
Would it be? This is good actually to talk through so that we can see how close we are. I can see already we're like different. Someone I
Yes.
love gives me a little gift as a token of our love, or I get to spend uninterrupted leisure time with those I love. I'm guessing you're at the bottom and I'm the top.
Yes.
Well, I heard you like it on the bottom, so I'm sorry. Someone, someone I love.
Naughty girl. It
I
is
know.
getting late
Hey,
early around here.
It's Thursday. It's Thursday. We're running into the weekend. Someone I love
Watch out.
does something
James Earl Jones is
unexpected.
watching you as I drink this water.
I know your family. I'm sorry, Auntie and Uncle. Someone I love does something unexpected for me to help me with a project. I share an innocent touch with someone I love. I'll go with the touch on this one. We might be the same on that.
On that one, because like I love my project, so I'm actually gonna go with the top on this
Oh,
one
but
in
we're
particular.
opposite again. Okay, interesting. Someone I love puts their arms around me in public, PDA. Someone I love surprises me with a gift. Ooh, that's a 50-50 for me. I'm going to go with gift.
For me, PDA.
Yeah? We're the
Yeah.
same on that one? Okay, good. I'm around someone I love, even if we're not doing anything. I can be comfortable holding hands, high-fiving, or putting my arm around someone. I'm the bottom on that one.
I mean, for me, that's both.
Okay.
So probably the bottom.
Okay, so we're like on that one. We're like
Mhm.
I received a gift from someone I love. I hear from someone I love that they love me. I'm going to go with the bottom on that one
Me
because
too.
I've done enough on the gifts. I sit close to someone I love if they've showered. No, I am complimented by someone I love for no apparent reason. Definitely the bottom.
For me, it's the top, but that probably has more to do with my difficulty receiving compliments or praise. So.
Oh, a little bit of self-awareness there. It's more meaningful to me when I get a chance to just hang out with someone I love, or I unexpectedly get small gifts from someone I love. That's a 50-50 for me. Again, I've done so much on gifts. I'll go with the top one.
Well, now you're using your logical brain to answer these questions, but I think if you're being true to yourself, you got to go
All right.
with what is the truth, right? I'm
Okay.
I'm going to hold you to that.
All right. Is that a banana? Oh, no, I'm sorry. No. Which I'm going with the bottom. Are you going with the bottom or the top?
For me, it's the top.
All right. I hear someone I love tell me, I'm proud of you. Someone I love helps me with the task. Probably the top one.
When it comes to romantic relationships, for me, it's the bottom one. But if it's parents or close friends, it's the top one.
Okay. So it's a depends. I get to do things with someone I love. I get supportive words from someone I love. Probably the bottom for me.
For me, it's the top. Adventures and
Okay.
activities.
Someone I love does things for me instead of just talking about doing nice things. I feel connected to someone I love. I design questionnaires, and this is not a good.
That's a 50-50 because the way they phrase the top one is so
Exactly.
powerful. It's hard not to pick it.
Yeah. Someone needs to take a course in questionnaires. Sorry, that's definitely my head. I will do the top one. It's a loaded. We call them loaded questions.
Loaded questions.
I'll do the top. Are you in the top or the bottom?
I am the top for this because of the way that it is worded.
It's worded. Mm-hmm. It's more meaningful to me when I hear praise from someone I love versus someone I love gives me something that shows they were really thinking about me.
Well, I'm not much for receiving gifts. If it's like a really thoughtful thing, then the bottom one definitely resonates with me.
Mm-hmm. again, if I do this thinking wise, I already did the praise part. Let's see. I think I'll go with the bottom. I am able to be around someone I love. I get a back rub. Oh, definitely the bottom.
Oh, I mean, a back rub, you can't beat that. I agree.
Loaded question. Someone I love reacts positively to something I've accomplished. Someone I love does something for me that I know they don't particularly enjoy. Ooh. I'm going to go with the top one because I don't believe in making someone do something that they really don't like, because then I know they don't like it and it's really not fun for me.
Yeah, I would be fearful of them being resentful that they did it. So yes.
It's more meaningful when I'm able to be in close physical proximity, or I sense someone I love showing interest in the things that I care about. Again, not a good question construction, but
It's 50-50 for me.
yeah. I'll do the bottom.
How many questions are there, just out of
I
curiosity?
know. Hopefully hopefully it's almost over. It's more meaningful when someone I love works on special projects that I have to complete. Someone gives me an exciting gift.
Top one for me. Yeah.
Okay. About my appearance, takes the time to listen, understand my feelings. I like my appearance. I can share. Were you on the bottom of that one?
I
You
didn't quite see it.
I can share a meaningful touch in public. Would I love run errands? Someone I love does something special. If this isn't finished in 2 more, I'm going to give up. Someone I love does something special to help me out. I give a gift. Okay, that's the one you were talking about. This has got to be the last one. Doesn't check their phone. Goes out of the way. Okay, doesn't check the phone.
Yeah, I agree with that one with our phone dependency these days.
Right. I appreciate you. This is long. I just hate, I'm already like so.
I think it proved like a couple interesting points if we're
okay.
If we're ready to move on from it.
I just don't want to stop it. But go ahead, you talk. You know what? You talk.
Yes, we all love to complete the thing.
Yes, I do. You know what?
I like that about you.
You make your points. This is a good thing to do. I'm gonna stop. Well, can you do this without being distracted if I keep doing this and you talk?
Go for it. Yeah,
okay.
I know you want to. Let's find out what it says for you. The thing that I realized, right, is we're going through this and we had a lot of differences. So when it comes to love languages, there's both, I think, the way that your partner wants to like receive things. So there's the receiving love language, but then there's also the way that you give. So you might like to give gifts, but that might be meaningless to your partner. So I think it goes back to what I call the platinum rule of, don't treat others the way you want to be treated. Treat others the way they want to be treated, which I think requires that higher level of listening, compassion, empathy, intuition, all of those good things. And then as that relates to gift giving, right? Gift giving, even without the love languages, especially in a relationship, is complicated enough. And I know that when I've been in relationship over the holiday season, I always feel a sense of anxiety, pressure around getting the right thing. Is it thoughtful enough? Is it, I hate to admit it, but is it expensive enough? Are they going to judge me on, how much the gift is? And when you layer in the love languages, I think maybe when I thought of this topic, I was wondering, is there a loophole where if somebody cares more about quality time and acts of service, do you even have to worry about the stress of getting the right holiday gift, or can you plan an awesome getaway instead? Or if it's Christmas and you don't give them a gift, or the holidays, are you in the doghouse? So just to bring it all back to our topic for the day. And meanwhile, I think we got results here, right, Dr. Marissa?
Yes, we do. But I want to just validate what you're saying for the differences, just looking at our both of our differences. And I'm glad you brought up the platinum rule. So the golden rule, for those of you who did not grow up in Sunday school, is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. The funny definition that I know is the one with the most gold rules. So that's one other way of it. Platinum rule, if you think about platinum, it's more expensive than gold. It's not as easy as the golden rule. You actually have to know what another person likes. So you're not assuming that they like what you like, which is the great thing about talking about the love languages. So absolutely, James. That's why I was happy you picked this topic as well. So it looks like I am biggest on words of affirmation. I like what comes out of your mouth more so than what you're doing, apparently. That's, because if I look at acts of service, it's only 13%. I think partly, James, because I'm still used to doing everything for myself, that it makes me a little uncomfortable asking people to do stuff for me. I'm so used to doing it, which is why I don't have an assistant too. It takes so much longer to have to tell someone how to do it and then have to go check it back and forth. But yeah, definitely, I love words of appreciation and receiving gifts. Obviously, I'm surprised that my receiving gifts is not as high as words of affirmation, to be honest. And
But
physical
it's interesting though, because it's not always that case. Because the other thing about you is that you're such a hardworking person. I remember on one of the questions you said, "I would love it if somebody would run my errands for me." That's loving. So I think also because of your tendency to be, dare I say, whether you like it or not about yourself, a bit of an overachiever. Somebody running your errands for you is incredibly
me.
flattering.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I'm a recovering overachiever, control freak, and perfectionist. Yeah. So let me take a screen, or I'll just stop sharing. I'll leave that on for me for later. So one part of the topic that you wanted to talk about was being in the doghouse when you are giving in that space of thinking that they want this versus that. Talk to me about that.
For example, you could give somebody the coolest gift in the world. It could be thoughtful, expensive, and timely because it's around the holidays. But if that person doesn't care about receiving a gift, their response might be underwhelming. And then, you feel like maybe you've missed the ball altogether because maybe what they wanted you to do is plan a trip, right? I'm certainly in that boat. And, outside of the romantic relationship of things, my family and I are really weird with gifts. We really don't do it. We more try to plan times when we can all be together and do fun experiential things, which is why I thought about this. But then I also thought, I think there's an expectation that if you're in a relationship, you're going to receive some sort of a gift, a physical gift around, and I don't just mean physical touch, around the holidays and around birthdays. And because of the charged nature of being in a relationship, I think it's it can be a tightrope at times. But I think understanding your partner's love languages can certainly go a long way. If you
Yeah.
plan the best trip in the world and fail to give a gift, it might not be much of a failure at all to your partner.
So for me, first of all, did you see what I wore for our interview? So I am the gift. Can you see that?
Yeah, I mean, and like, for Santa to drop that down the chimney, you look amazing. No chimney dust, nothing. It's amazing.
See, I am the gift.
Yes.
I love this dress. I've had it like 20 years, but it's every holiday season. It does well. But anyways, so I would go back and say, I don't care what your love language is, in the sense that if you actually express, and this goes for everyone. I took my little nephew to task this one time when I gave him a gift, and he said, he was like 7 or 8, and said, "That's not what I wanted." And I just, bit his head off, not physically, but I looked at him and I said, "I don't care what you think about anyone's gift. You are gracious and say thank you so much. You look people in the eye and are grateful. I don't care." So for me, that anybody would say or act like they didn't like their gift that's a deal breaker. Like if anyone I was ever. Now, on the other hand, I think that our whole society has really done themselves not a favor by trying to find the perfect gift. Every holiday season, they want to get that one thing that everybody's going to go, oh, that's it. How did you know? And it's like, what, one chance in 1,000 that that's going to happen? And it's kind of stupid to put that kind of pressure on yourself. And while I'm not crazy about making lists, because then there's the expectation that you get everything on the list. And I'm codependent enough that if you give me a list, I'm going to want to give you everything on that list. And if I don't get that one, so lists don't work for me. And I used to be critical around gift cards, but now I'm totally like, I would much rather get a card so that I can buy what I want. And I still thank them for they made the money that gave to me what I could buy to celebrate the season. So where was I going with that? The pressure of the perfect gift. We gotta drop that bullshit talkie. Like that's an unnecessary holiday downer right there, because it leads to, you know, trying to fit in shopping, trying to fight traffic. You know, you're already exhausted. You're trying to, you know, if you're the person hosting, it's just like way too much. So I do like the, focusing on getting together. The gift is we're going to get together. We're going to spend the money for the travel to get together. And then,
however, I'm going to throw a wrinkle in the plot,
okay.
if I may.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm dating somebody, maybe like you, that likes to receive gifts, I'm going to hedge my bets. Rather than trying to get maybe the one perfect gift, which I've definitely been guilty of in the past, I might pick 3 things that I think you like. One might be something practical that I know you need. One might be something that I think is really thoughtful and shows an understanding of you. And one might be a little on the extravagant side, right? So if I know you like gifts, rather than putting that money into plane tickets, accommodations, or whatever, and I'm abiding by the platinum rule, I'm a betting man. So I'm going to hedge my bets and maybe get you 3 gifts. But if I was shopping for someone like me in relationship, I would have to fake it and be grateful about a physical gift, when what I would really love is something real. I would want them to give me some of their quality time and plan an amazing trip with me. And that's what would make me genuinely go over the moon, you know? So I think there is a caveat. The pressure of that perfect gift, I agree, is too much. But if your partner likes gifts, pound the pavement and get shopping.
You're starting to look cuter.
Well, that's just because that was number 2 on your love language. That's why I'm
You're
just
right.
speaking your language
You're,
now.
I stand corrected. And that actually has led to breakups, because I wanted some expression of a gift on Valentine's. And his response was, I don't give presents on Valentine's. And because I think it's a commercial, blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, I'm not asking for an extravagant, but a little something would be great. And he said, no, I just don't do that. And I broke up with him.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you know
you're
what?
right.
And anybody that's that dogmatic, you know, is that's kind of a red flag, or at least a yellow flag. I love someone that's principled, but to be dogmatic, I see that causing friction down the road for beyond the Valentine's Day gift issue.
Yes, and you're right about that. And it was really kind of like cold water on my face, because up to that point, it was so good. Like there was really, but I had ignored the yellow flags that ramped up to that one, because then I was remembering one time, when we were out for dinner, and he expected me to pick up the bill because he spent money to fly down to see me. And that I didn't catch that until it came to the Valentine's head.
You know, that's so fascinating, because if we're not speaking the same love language as our partner, sometimes we miss the things that they've extended themselves to do for us. We completely just, it goes right over our head, that act of service or the quality time, because we're not operating on that radar. They sneak under our radar with that. And, I think my question to you, doctor, would be this. I mean that in a genuine way, because I value your expertise in this. How do we get better at not missing each other's cues? I've been told that sometimes in relationships I miss certain social cues because I have a very strong personality and have intelligence in certain areas, but I'm completely oblivious in other things, and I'd like to get better at that. And I think the same can be said for when we have different love languages than our partner. How do we get better at that?
Yeah. Well, taking a test is definitely one way to get better at it. Although I need to put in, ask my assistant Google to put short quizzes instead, so that we get to the point faster. But if you've
At
just
least it's an hour-long show.
yeah, that's true. That's true. And if you just tuned in and you're wondering what's going on in studio, this is Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show, and it is special series Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and
James Hawthorn.
because it is Thursday. Welcome to my cashew gallery. I see that Orville Nation is streaming in from Portugal. Nice to see you. And we're talking about love languages. And so I think PJ is married. And so I'll put him on the spot and just say, do you know what your love language is? And do you know what your wife's love language is? I found out today that my top of my list is gifts. Second on the list is, what was it again?
Words of affirmation. But flip those two.
First was words of affirmation. Second was receiving gifts. So that is, maybe that's why the yellow flag was delayed, is because he was saying the right things. That definitely could be. So what's your number one? Spending time? Is it here, let me pull this back up again so we can see the categories for those who are not familiar.
Mine, James's, or our guests?
Yours, James's.
Mine. For me, it's very close between these two. Well, actually, no, that's not true, because when I answer this question, I have to do it with regards to the way I like to give, as a love language, and the way I like to receive. When it comes to receiving, I would say it's quality time, followed by acts of service and physical touch. When it comes to giving, I love physical touch. I love to reassure, affirm, express love in that sort of way. And then I also love the giving quality time as well, because I love going on experiences together, because then you're never one of those couples that's sitting at the dinner table with both of you on the phone the whole meal, because you've created all these awesome memories, from the amazing trips you've done together or outings you've gone on. You always have these stories you can tell. And I think the more stories that you can tell together, you're never going to be bored with your partner, because you've built this whole life around, things that are truly enriching, rather than stuff that might gather dust on a shelf. But regardless of whether the stuff gathers dust on a shelf or not, if it feels good to receive the gift, that's all that matters. I don't want to sit here and judge people for liking to receive gifts, even if the stuff gathers dust on a shelf a year from the time you give it.
Right. Now that's an interesting, different angle to take it at. So if this is my love language, I'm wondering if it's for receiving or giving. I'm thinking it's receiving. So I like words of affirmation first and foremost. I like getting the gifts, physical touch, and then acts of service, and then quality time. Yeah, that definitely makes sense for what I like or what I want to receive, because I don't have a lot of time, and time is more important to me than money, because I can't get it back. So, and I have such a full, overachieving, as you pointed out, schedule, that having quality time, maybe that's not the way. But anyways, in giving, I prefer giving quality time. It's almost like opposite.
Right.
I prefer giving and acts of service, physical touch, giving gifts, and then giving words of affirmation, because I want the guy to not need me to always be telling him how great he is, because I want him to have a balanced, centered self, you know, uh, self love, right? Like I don't have to constantly be telling him that. Interesting. It's opposite.
Well, maybe
It reminds me
maybe it
of
makes you feel generous to give of time because it's something that you know you don't have a lot of. So in your heart and mind, when you're giving that, it makes you feel very generous in giving. And it confirms that notion of, yes, I love this person because look at what I'm doing for them. I think that, you know, a lot of times we're looking to confirm certain things about ourselves. And then the impetus is on your partner to recognize that about you. So for your partner to see you and go, wow, she's so busy. This is amazing that she's taking the time out to do this. Kind of like when you talked about your partner taking the plane down and you kind of miss that. I think we're all, you know, guilty of those sorts of things, but there seems to be value in taking the time to take this test with two different thinking caps on. One
right.
being the how you like to receive it, the other being how you like to give it. And if you're looking for a fun date night, maybe it's really healthy for your partner to sit down, make them a really nice meal and go through the exercise together and learn about yourselves and each other together. Talk about
Yeah,
fostering healthy communication.
yeah, for sure. Welcome to Ranella, who was a guest of mine not too long ago. She was also my camera woman last night. I made her go up there. I usually do all that myself. And the last time I did a carpet and I was doing selfie interviews with an older Hollywood set who is more, even though they don't understand that my phone camera is actually better than all the cameras that they saw down the line. I asked Ranella if she'd come and shoot me last night by camera, and she was kind enough to go with me, and we had a great time. It was nice, and you know, she caught all of those great interviews with Bob Eubanks, as I taught you a lot of soap opera people that were being nominated for the Daytime Emmys, and then Ruta Lee and Danelle Danigan, who have also been guests who are like Hollywood queens. But she's listening with her husband. So I'm going to ask you, looking, just not taking the test, but looking at that, what would you say you and your husband were similar or opposite? Because the point I want to make is, you know, how they say opposites attract, right? And it is true that, you know, you like things in people that maybe you don't have in yourself and you admire them for that. So perfect example, if you're a homebody and you are on the shy side or an introvert and you're attracted to someone like me who's like out there, and Ranelle is the same way. I think her husband is a little more, you know, laid back than she is. We're both like, that's why I call her my mini me, and we're like out there and we're constantly out there. We're in the public eye and we're doing stuff, and so at first that is a compliment, right? Opposites attract. However, if the bonding, like you're talking about, is based on spending time together, if that's your love language, and that precludes that happening, right? Is then opposites not such a, you know, or another example is if I'm looking for she's determined to set me up with someone. It's so funny. And we actually saw a shooting star on the way. I've never seen a shooting star. So she's using that as, okay, you're definitely, you know, you have to be in a relationship. She's farming me out. But anyways, if isn't how important then, James, is it that you are doing things or spending time doing things that you both like? So you saw my reaction when I said someone's doing something that they wouldn't normally like to do. For me, it's like I would never want that to happen. But if I'm attracting an opposite, it's really difficult. So then how important is it for me to be with someone who likes doing the things that I do?
That's a great question. I have a couple takes on that, and I'm curious if the listeners want to opine in and see which one resonates with them. If opposites attract, and they certainly can to a point, because you can go completely off the scale and then you're just living in the incompatibility world. However, if one is a homebody and one likes to go out, maybe you go out to eat at a happening restaurant, but you got the quiet table in the corner, right? So maybe there is a sense of compromise where everybody feels comfortable and happy, and you're getting to spend that quality time together. However, another take on it is that when two people compromise, nobody wins. And what good is that? Because you want your relationship to elevate your life. And if you're not getting what you completely want sometimes, where's the excitement? Where's the thrill? If everything's a compromise, it's all dull and boring. And life's too darn short for that.
There goes.
Yeah. So, I mean, if opposites attract, how do you handle that? Do you make that, all right, let's go to the restaurant, but sit at the quiet table? Or, do you just say, you're doing this for me tonight because I love you and you love me. And next weekend, we'll spend the entire night at home doing a home baked dinner and Netflix and chill.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good way of making me swallow, even though I don't swallow, compromise, the C word.
You're on one today. I love it.
I can't help it. This is what happens when I put on my I'm a gift dress. It's very difficult for me to put that C word in my vocabulary. And I was just telling Ranella yesterday, I'm a great manifester. So if I really wanted to be in a relationship, it would happen. But because I'm of two minds, because I don't really believe that I could meet someone where I didn't have to compromise. I hate that word. It's like the only word worse than compromise is patience. I have neither one of those words in my vocabulary. So until I can believe that it's possible to meet someone where I wouldn't have to compromise 80% of the time, 20% of the time, absolutely, I will compromise, and I'll do it with a smile on my face. But it's my BS, my belief system, that I would have to drastically compromise in order to have a good relationship.
So, I mean, for you, it sounds like compatibility is key. But the nice thing about the nuance is I believe that it is a sliding scale. Opposites can attract, but if you go too far, then you're in incompatibility. Similarly, if you think about the whole introvert, extrovert, and blend model, for example, I would consider myself a introverted extrovert, meaning that your partner landed from the sky, meaning that I'm an only child, and if I don't get my alone time, I can get cranky. But I love to be out. I love meeting people, and meeting people ultimately gives me energy. So I could probably be with an extroverted introvert. I would have a tough time making it work with an introverted introvert, and I'd probably be overwhelmed by an extroverted extrovert, someone who's on all the time. So I probably need somebody that's in the middle of that scale. And so, I think there's nuance to it. And I think it's knowing thyself that's so important. And I think that sometimes people that have an adventurous spirit can do well in a relationship where opposites attract. Because even though they might prefer certain things, if you're willing to explore adventure and grow, this person can not change you necessarily, but broaden your horizons and, help you become this more complete person. Mm-hmm. Isn't that what we would all hope for in a relationship? To have yes. somebody that helps broaden us and make us more rich and complex.
Yes. Even though getting along and that whole complete me thing, I think has also not helped grow good relationships. Thinking that person has to, you're not enough without that person. They have to be, you complete me in order to be whole. I have such a difficult time with that. Plus the, I grew up in the school of romance of Cinderella and Snow White. And somehow, if I meet the one soulmate, one twin flame, that's shiitake. There's way more than just one person in the how many billion of us that you could have a good relationship with. And I prefer to see it as, my book of romance, and there's many chapters in my book of romance. And so some chapters are shorter and some are longer, but the ability to be open to, I'll say, people who are different than you, and for a certain amount of time until you can't be, right? Until it works, until it doesn't work. I'm so glad we're getting more and more. The topic is we're getting more and more eyeballs rolling in. So I think the topic is a good one, James. And at the same time, the bad news is I am getting the sign from our back end, Frank, who is my sound engineer back there, saying we don't have a lot of time. So he's telling me it's time for a final word from you.
I have a hopeful wish for our listeners today. I'll let you close it out after that, Dr. Marissa. My wish is that in this holiday season, you choose your gifts wisely. You choose them without the pressure of buying the perfect gift. And you do so with a sense of platinum rule understanding of the way your partner likes to receive love. I truly believe in my heart of hearts, after our conversation today and what we discussed, that if you do that, you're going to have a lovely gift giving and gift exchanging this holiday season. Whatever form that takes is going to be a beautiful experience for you and your partner. And I wish that for everybody listening.
Beautiful. And I'll just chime in that the best gift, I believe, for your relationship is, once you hear this, is to sit down, have a dinner together, and just talk about the top 5 things using the model of love languages, and that will help the communication in your relationship so that you're not missing your Mark or your Peter or your Dick. Oh, I mean, Richard. That was accidental, that one.
We're gonna have to talk about your wardrobe next week, because if this is what's making you, on one, we're gonna have to pre-approve your clothing, Dr. Marissa, next week. I don't want the FCC coming after you.
It's all about balance, folks. Thanks for tuning in to take my advice. I'm not using your balance with Dr. Marissa, the Morning Show special series, Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and
James Hawthorn.
It's peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Tomorrow, Tempting Conversations with the Long Carter. Now go and have the best day